I'm on the best designed neighborhood street in Chattanooga. I want to show you the different aspects that make this a brilliant design. Let's check it out. For reference, I'm on 17th Street between Broad, and on the other end, it's capped by Main Street. This is a downtown busy area, but I want to show you what they do to make it not feel busy. The first design aspect is the sense of enclosure. There are buildings consistently lining both sides and trees that add to enclosure both above and to the sides as well. Humans are drawn to enclosed space. It innately makes us feel safe and protected. It's why we're so drawn to those quirky European streets that you're always seeing people post on their vacation. The next design feature I want to point out is this island of trees right here. Traffic coming either direction, even if it enters from busy Broad Street, has to go around these trees. By forcing this circuitous path, cars naturally slow down. In America, the only thing we think can slow down cars is speed bumps. This does it gently and beautifully without having to jostle people. Next, notice what's happening at these intersections. The intersections are raised to the level of the sidewalk. Traditionally, pedestrians are stepping down into the level of the road, but here cars are entering to the level of the pedestrians. And this change in texture automatically makes motorists be more careful because it doesn't feel quite like a road. Again, there could be a sign that says pedestrians in the area. People could completely miss it, and it's still, they're going to drive more carefully because of this design. Next, the pedestrian interactions have these bollards. These are protective metal and concrete poles. They are what's called modal filters, easily allowing strollers and wheelchairs through, but keeping cars both off the sidewalk in case a car wanted to park there at a convenience, but also protecting people if a car were to stray, because intersections are the most dangerous place for pedestrians. Moving right along, the street is so narrow, it's what's called a two-way yield. If a car was going in each direction, they would actually have to stop and let the other car go by. This is, again, another traffic calming measure without having to jostle you like a speed bump. Feeling a little bit stressed as a driver is a feature, not a bug. This is one of the rare streets that's designed for the speed limit that's posted. People would naturally drive the speed, I believe, even if there were no speed limit signs. Here's a well-marked mid-block crossing, and the trees that line this aren't just a pretty face that adds a sense of enclosure. Tree-lined streets can even reduce the temperature up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit and act as barriers if a car were to go off the road. There's a pocket park, which is a semi-public green space, but it's only mainly for the people that live in this area, and there's plenty of seating along the way. Both the parks, the seating, and these mid-block crossings encourage social interactivity between the two sides of the street. And the traffic calming measures dissuade people from using this as a quick cut through on their way home from work. But it does it without breaking the grid. So still practically cars can come through here, but they're just not going to be moving as fast as they would if they were on a thoroughfare. And that's great. In a famous study by Donald Appleyard, he looked at 3 similar streets to this in San Francisco and saw that the street that had less traffic, a low traffic volume, saw higher social interconnectivity between different people and people hanging out on the streets. That's one of the things that lowers crime, people being present at different times of day. So these benches don't just encourage rest and socialization, it's crime prevention. And the necessary component to afford streets like this is the housing density in this area. Dense housing can elevate a tax base regardless of price per unit, so that theoretically you could have affordable housing and nice streets. Plenty of countries in Europe have a much lower GDP, but are able to maintain streets with this level of design. Another marked raised intersection with a changed texture, aesthetic lighting, and even trash can receptacles and proximity to a school. In fact, one of the greatest design aspects of this is its proximity to amenities. You could walk to your barber, your doctor, dozens of restaurants, breweries, cafes, grocery stores, music venues, comedy venues. Even within 10 minutes, you could access the Chattanooga City bikes. And without owning a car, not only could you walk places, you could get on one of those bikes and for $50 a year, have another form of transportation. Now notice that this is 5 o'clock on a work day, on a parallel street to busy downtown streets. It's quiet. You've probably heard birds in the background. Very few cars have whizzed by. There isn't signs telling people to act this way. There's passive design encouraging people to act this way. Take, for example, this slight curve coming off Main Street. That's so that cars that are entering here at speed are immediately confronted with a lane shift that causes them to be more circuitous in their route and slow down naturally. Kind of like that. What's unfortunate is that this is a luxury of those people who can afford these really expensive housing units. But it's a standard which wouldn't be really hard to enforce if we just allowed dense mixed-use development throughout other parts of the city and held ourselves to a higher standard of safety and convenience.